What's going on, everybody? Today is February 22nd, 2020. In this video, we're going to look at the numerology and gematria of the death of rapper Pop Smoke, who is said to have been killed following a home invasion on February 19th, just a couple of days ago. In the description below, I provided links to a number of recent major rapper deaths. And you'll find XXXTentacion, Juice WRLD, Nipsey Hussle down there as well. And the overarching theme throughout these posts is that rappers are being killed by what's called the Eclipse crucifixion code. This code comes from the New Testament of the Bible, where 3 of the 4 Gospels describe darkness falling over the sky during the crucifixion of Jesus. Although historically improbable, the idea that Christ was crucified during an eclipse is more symbolic than anything. The death of the Son of God, the death of the sun in the sky. And in this video, we're going to explore this code further. Now, also in the description below, you'll see a link to my video on my Anarchadelphia presentation where I explain the Eclipse crucifixion code essentially from the bottom up. And as we see, every time a major rapper dies, this code is extremely prevalent. In the alphabetic order, the name Jesus has a value of 74. This is the same as the word cross, the word Messiah, the word killing, parables 74, and gospel, again, where this story comes from, where this code comes from, summing to 74. The word rapper also equals 74, and it does appear that this code is heavily involved with the death of rappers, such as Tupac, for instance, whose name sums to 74 in reverse, his other stage name, Machiavelli, 74 in ordinal. That death was related to the death of Biggie, which was just a few months later. Biggie died on March 9th, the date written 3/9. It was the same date as a total solar eclipse. An eclipse equals 39. This code's still going on to this very day, so let's get to it. In this video, we're going to look at a couple main items. First of all, the birthday of Pop Smoke, very significant date to all of this. We're also going to look at the release of his first single, Welcome to the Party, which is essentially the start of this man's career in the mainstream. And then we'll also look at the release of his first mixtape, called Meet the Woo, which was released on July 26th of last year. The release of all of these, the single and the records, all foreshadowing his death by the numbers. Welcome to the Party was released on April 23rd of 2019. Measuring from that date to the date of his death is a span of exactly 303 days. So essentially you could say that his career in the spotlight lasting 303 days. Using the standard alphabetic order, crucifixion of Jesus Christ equals 303. And as the churches teach, certainly I was taught in school that Jesus was crucified at the age of 33. This is also the reduction value of the word eclipse. The date that Pop Smoke passed away had primary numerology of 61. In the reverse alphabetic order, the name Jesus equals 61. Again, this is simple English gematria. We're looking at the word simple, 74, English, 74, and gematria, 74. This was originally just a Jewish practice. It comes from the Hebrew language, and in Hebrew, the name Jesus sums to 316. Now, because 2020 is a leap year, the date on which Pop Smoke died left 316 days in the year. So again, looking at the date of the release of Welcome to the Party, Notice that on this date, Pop Smoke was exactly 1,031 weeks old. Notice how the word crucifixion sums to 131. In numerology, zeros are ignored, so this represents the same number as 1,031. The number 1,031 is a prime number. Notice here how it's the 173rd prime number. And this is very interesting because using the standard alphabetic order, as we will be doing for the majority of this video, 1031 has a value of 173. Now, I'm primarily going to focus on Pop Smoke in this, but I'm also going to mention XXXTentacion, one of the most famous rappers to have died recently. Notice how XXXTentacion also gives us 173 in ordinal. And this number is significant to the Eclipse crucifixion code. In the Gospels, while Jesus is dying on the cross, he screams for Eli, which is the name of God, Eli. And the word Eli is 173 flipped upside down. This song, Welcome to the Party, was part of Pop Smoke's mixtape called Meet the Woo. And check out how well Meet the Woo was received. It reached a peak position of 173. And yes, that's right, the US Billboard 200, part of this cabal that codes things by the numbers. So by no means do we know for sure that 173 is accurate here. Now, XXXTentacion was a very interesting case. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the 2024 Great American Total Solar Eclipse, the second total solar eclipse that the nation will be seeing in less than 7 years. And this is a very, very significant eclipse. I want you to first think about the date that this occurs on. 4/8, April 8th in the year 2024. Well, 2 times 24 is 48. So already we have some distinct numerology in this date. Well, if you measure from that date to the date of XXXTentacion's death, it was exactly 303 weeks. Just like the Gematria of Crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Remember, Pop Smoke's career lasting 303 days. In ordinal, Welcome to the Party sums to 224. Again, this total solar eclipse occurring in the year 2024. Now, if you measure from that eclipse to the death of Pop Smoke, you get 1,510 days. Now, this is an incredibly significant number. First of all, he was born (151 days) after the date February 19th on which he died. Using the alphabetic order, Jesus Christ sums to 151. This is also the reverse value of XXXTentacion, 151. XXXTentacion died 146 days after his birthday. His birthday is January 23rd, written 123, just like Crucifixion of Jesus Christ in reduction. Measuring from XXXTentacion's birthday to the death of Pop Smoke is 1,151 weeks. So again, the crucifixion code, Jesus Christ, all of this numerology, very, very significant. Next, we're going to look at a few more numerical alignments with the release of this man's works in relation to his death. And this is where it gets just downright undeniable that ever since the very beginning of this man's career, It was coded for his death on February 19th. Once again, his first mixtape was called Meet the Woo. This was released on July 26th of 2019. Now, including the end dates, on this date, Pop Smoke was a span of 240 months and 7 days old. In Gematria, Pop Smoke, Meet the Woo, equals 247 in the reverse alphabetic order. This is the same as crucifixion code, 247, in that same method. Also notice how this album was released with with 158 days left on the calendar. Crucifixion code equals 158 in ordinal. But looking back at the 247, if you measure instead to the date that Pop Smoke died, he was exactly 247 months old. Furthermore, his death fell a span of 247 days after the anniversary of the death of XXX Tentacion. Worth pointing out, by the way, when you combine Pop Smoke with this man's full real name, you get 274 in ordinal, the same digits, just transposed. Now, there's something else that's very significant to this riddle in regards to the release of Meet the Woo. So Pop Smoke was born on the date July 20th. Of course, July 20th, the anniversary of the first moon landing, allegedly. But this date is written 7/20, a lot like the number 72. Now, last year, in 2019, the year in which Pop Smoke achieved stardom, there was one total solar eclipse, and it was on the date July 2nd, written 7/2 or 2/7. His first mixtape, Meet the Woo, was released on a date with 72 and 27 numerology. This was also the 207th day of the year. In reduction gematria, the word pop equals 20 and 7. The word smoke equals 72 and 27. Meet the Woo was his first mixtape. He has one more mixtape to his credit, Meet the Woo 2. And check out what date this was released on. February 7th, written 207. Well, if you measure from his birthday on 7/20, how did I get this here? Oh, that's right. So there's actually two release dates for this album. Notice how there was a deluxe edition released just 5 days later, on February 12th. Well, that was 207 days after Pop Smoke's birthday. And then just 1 week later, on February 19th, he died at the age of exactly 20 years and 7 months old. He died in Hollywood Hills, which sums to 72 in reduction. Just glancing at Jewish gematria here, I want to point out that Eclipse has this value of 192. And the date that Pop Smoke died was the 19th of February, written 19/2. 192 has the same digits as 2019, the year in which Pop Smoke gained fame. We'll check out how old he would have been on the date of the 2024 Great American Eclipse. He would have been exactly 1,290 weeks old. Again, the same digits in 2019 and Eclipse. This is also 9,030 days. Of course, Christ crucified between the hours of 9 and 3 on the 93rd day of the year. Christianity equals 930. Adam lived to 930 years old in the Bible, and so on. But the reason I think this 129 is so important is because the name of this album, Meet the Woo, equals 129 in the alphabetic order. Notice how in reverse, Meet the Woo equals 141. Well, if you measure from Pop Smoke's birthday to the date of the 2019 total solar eclipse, which was on 7/2, he would have been exactly 1,041 weeks old. Or I should say he was 1,041 weeks old. So if all of this numerology wasn't enough for you, consider the fact that Meet the Woo has perfect alignments with his age on the date of these eclipses. It's just uncanny. All right, so a few more things here before I wrap this video up. Pop Smoke's death occurred on the 50th day of the year. And this brings us back to his real name, Bashar Jackson. Oops. The name Bashar Jackson sums to 229 in the reverse alphabetic order. And interestingly enough, this is the 50th prime number. Using the alphabetic order, Bashar Jackson equals 122. Now, on a clock, 122 minutes is 2 hours and 2 minutes. Total solar eclipse has a value of 202 in ordinal. Think about this being the year 2020, a lot like the number 22. This year, Pop Smoke would have celebrated his birthday on the 202nd day of the year. Also notice how his birthday would have been on a date with 67 numerology. Total solar eclipse equals 67 in reduction. Of course, this date would have been the first day of his 22nd year. In reduction, the name Bashar sums to 22. In extended, his name equals 202. The 22nd prime number is 79. The phrase eclipse sacrifice equals 79 in reduction. Pop Smoke, Bashar Jackson equals 79 in reduction. And if you measure from the date of the 2019 total solar eclipse to the date that he died, it was exactly 232 days. In ordinal, Pop Smoke, Bashar Jackson equals 232. Of course, what's impossible to ignore here in Jewish gematria is that Pop Smoke, Bashar Jackson equals 1331. Now, if you're familiar with my work, you know that 1331 might be my favorite number of all time. This number has everything to do with the eclipse code. Notice how 133 equals 1331, so does 331. And the number 1331 is made by merging these two numbers, just like an eclipse. The phrase twin eclipses equals 1331. There was only one total solar eclipse in the year 1331, and it was on the only date that sums to 1331 in that Jewish gematria cipher. Now, 1331, this is 11 times 11 times 11. If you add 11 plus 11 plus 11, you get 33, like eclipse. So this number's so central to the code, and I talk about this all the time. So the fact that this number popped up in this guy's gematria just blew my mind, especially in addition to the alignments here. And then for the grand finale, if you include his full name with his stage name, you get 994 in English Extended Gematria. This is the value of total solar eclipse. And then you have the 704, which again ties back to rapper, 74, Jesus, 74, and so on. So, in regards to numerology, there's actually a lot more here. I know in the chat, Simple Truth mentioned how it's connected to Christopher Walken and a number of others. 50 Cent is another big one, too. Like we said, he died on the 50th day of the year. And, oh, perfect. There, it just so happens that Zach's in the chat talking about 50 and 50 Cent. So, yeah, there's a very clear riddle with those guys as well. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks to everybody who jumped in. Again, please check the description below for relevant links to other related deaths, for a better explanation on Gematria, and also the Eclipse crucifixion code explained from the ground up. All right, everyone, thanks again for checking it out, and we'll talk to you next time. Peace, love, God bless. See ya.